Before the world as we know it existed, before mankind took its first breath, there was a rebellion. This was no ordinary uprising. It was catastrophic, absolute, and it changed the course of eternity forever. It was not a battle of flesh and blood, nor was it fought on the lands of men. This was a war waged in the very courts of heaven itself. Leading the charge was none other than the most magnificent of all created beings, Lucifer, the morning star. But what could drive such a being, one adorned in splendor, perfection, and divine favor, to rebel against the one who created him? How could a creature of such unparalleled beauty and wisdom defy the very source of all goodness, love, and life? And perhaps the most haunting question of all, why is it that Satan and his fallen angels remain unforgiven, condemned for eternity, while humanity is offered the chance of redemption? To answer these questions, we must journey deep into the scriptures, uncovering a story of pride, rebellion, and divine justice. It is a story that echoes through the corridors of time as a warning to all creation, a cautionary tale of what happens when one defies the creator of the universe. Lucifer was not always the adversary, the deceiver, or the prince of darkness. In fact, he was once the most glorious of all the angels, standing at the pinnacle of creation. The Bible offers glimpses of his former majesty, describing him in breathtaking detail. Ezekiel 28:12-15, a portrait of perfection. The prophet Ezekiel delivers a message to the king of Tyre, but many theologians agree that these words also provide a depiction of Lucifer before his fall. You were the seal of perfection, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. You were in Eden, the garden of God. Every precious stone adorned you, carnelian, chrysolite, and emerald. Your settings and mountings were made of gold. On the day you were created, they were prepared. You were anointed as a guardian cherub, for so I ordained you. You were on the holy mount of God. You walked among the fiery stones. Lucifer was not just another angel. He was the highest of angels, a covering cherub, chosen to dwell in the very presence of God. His appearance was adorned with unimaginable beauty, his body encrusted with precious stones that reflected the radiance of God's glory. Every detail of his being was crafted with perfection, from his wisdom to his splendor. He walked among the fiery stones, a metaphor for being in the holy and consuming presence of the Almighty, a creation of purpose and honor. Lucifer was created with a specific purpose. He was not just a witness to God's glory, he was a reflection of it. His role as a guardian cherub signified immense authority and responsibility. He was meant to lead in worship, to exalt the Creator, and to serve as a beacon of God's divine artistry. And yet, despite his exalted position, despite standing in the presence of infinite love and holiness, Lucifer wanted more. What could drive a perfect being, dwelling in the presence of infinite love and glory, to rebel against his Creator? The answer lies in one word: pride. Isaiah 14:12-15, the prideful heart of Lucifer. In Isaiah's poetic lament, we see the inner workings of Lucifer's heart. How you have fallen from heaven, morning star, son of the dawn. You have been cast down to the earth, you who once laid low the nations. You said in your heart, I will ascend to the heavens. I will raise my throne above the stars of God. I will make myself like the Most High. Lucifer was no longer content with his role. He was no longer satisfied with worshipping God. He desired to exalt himself above the stars of God, a poetic way of saying he wanted to rule over all creation. He wanted to dethrone the Almighty and claim the glory for himself. In that moment, pride was born, the birth of sin. Before Lucifer's rebellion, sin did not exist. He was its originator, the father of rebellion. His pride twisted his heart, and his desire for power overtook his loyalty to the Creator. Sin, in its essence, is the rejection of God's authority, and Lucifer's defiance was the ultimate act of rebellion. But Lucifer did not rise alone. Revelation 12:4 tells us that he deceived 1/3 of the angels to join his cause. These were not weak or foolish beings. They were mighty celestial creatures, yet they willingly chose to follow Lucifer in his uprising. Their rebellion was deliberate and irrevocable. Revelation 12:7-9, the war in heaven. The rebellion culminated in a celestial battle described in Revelation. Then war broke out in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon and his angels fought back. But he was not strong enough, and they lost their place in heaven. The great dragon was hurled down, that ancient serpent called the devil, or Satan, who leads the whole world astray. He was hurled to the earth, and his angels with him. This was no ordinary defeat. It was an eternal judgment. Satan and his angels were cast out of heaven, stripped of their positions and privileges. Their rebellion had reached its climax, and their fate was sealed. They were hurled to the earth, their once glorious status reduced to eternal condemnation. But why was their punishment so severe? Why were they not given a second chance? Many struggle to understand why Satan and his fallen angels are denied forgiveness, while humanity is offered redemption through Christ. The answer lies in three critical truths. 1. Their sin was final and absolute. Satan and his angels sinned with full knowledge and intent. Unlike humanity, which sins out of weakness, ignorance, or deception, they rebelled while standing in the direct presence of God's glory. Their sin was not a mistake or a momentary lapse in judgment. It was a deliberate and eternal rejection of God's authority. 2. They were not created in God's image. Humans are uniquely created in the image of God, Genesis 1:27, designed for fellowship with Him and capable of redemption. Angels, however, are servants and messengers. Their purpose is to execute God's will, not to receive salvation. Hebrews 2:16 confirms this, for surely it is not angels He helps, but Abraham's descendants. 3. Their fate was sealed in eternal judgment. Their rebellion was an irreversible act. 2 Peter 2:4 declares, "For if God did not spare angels when they sinned, but sent them to hell, putting them in chains of darkness to be held for judgment." Jude 1:6 echoes this. "And the angels who did not keep their positions of authority, but abandoned their proper dwelling, these He has kept in darkness, bound with everlasting chains for judgment on the great day." Though Satan still roams the earth, his ultimate fate is sealed. Revelation 20:10 reveals the end of his rebellion. "And the devil who deceived them was thrown into the lake of burning sulfur, where the beast and the false prophet had been thrown. They will be tormented day and night forever and ever." This is the final destination, the lake of fire, a place of eternal torment. Satan and his angels will face everlasting punishment, a stark reminder of God's perfect justice. The story of Satan is a sobering lesson, a warning to all creation of the consequences of pride, rebellion, and rejecting God. While Satan and his angels are beyond redemption, humanity is not. Through Jesus Christ, we are offered grace, forgiveness, and eternal life. The question is, will you accept it? Do not follow the path of the fallen. Choose Christ. Choose life. Choose eternity with God.